Assalamualaikum and hi. We are from DBS6D and we will be presenting about financial ratios and limitation ratios.
Assalamualaikum and hi, I'm Deena Dalissa. For financial ratios, I will start off with liquidity ratio. Liquidity ratio shows the firm's ability to meet short-term financial obligations, that is whether the company has the resources to pay its creditors when payments are due. Liquidity ratio, there is current ratio and quick ratio. Ratio is liquidity ratio that measures the company's ability to pay short-term obligations or those due within 1 year. The industry average for current ratio is 2.1 times. At calculation, it shows that Hikmat current ratio is 2 times which is lower than the average. Hence, its liquidity position is lower than average. One of the steps that could be taken to improve the ratio is sell any capital assets that are not generating a return to the business. Ratio, on the other hand, measures the company's capacity to pay its current liabilities without needing to sell its inventory or obtain additional financing. From our calculation, the quick ratio is 1.18 times. When we compare the industry average, which is 0.9, we can see that Hikmat Bati Berhad's quick ratio is higher than the industry average. This indicates that Hikmat Bati Berhad is in good shape and can pay its liabilities. The most common ways to improve the quick ratio are increased sales and inventory turnover. The second financial ratios are efficiency ratios, or also called as asset management ratios. This ratio measures how effectively the firm is managing its assets in generating sales. Under the efficiency ratios, there is inventory turnover ratio, which is an effective measure of how well a company is turning its inventory into sales. The industry average is 6.5 times. Based on the calculation, we got 7.8 times, which is higher than the industry average. To improve the ratio, Hikmat Bati Berhad could do proper forecasting.
Assalamualaikum. Hi, I'm Faridah Maisarah, binti Mama Aili. Average collection period function is to identify the number of days taken by a firm to collect its account receivable. Based on the calculation that I have made, based on the Hikmat Bati account, it shows that Hikmat Bati Berhad current ratio, which is 40.56 days, is higher than 35 days of industry average. This shows that Hikmat Bati Berhad is having trouble being paid for the goods it sells compared to its competitor. By offering the a discount structure for paying ahead of the credit periods, the ratio will be improved. Non-current asset turnover ratio is to measure the firm efficiency in utilizing its property in generating sale. Based on the calculation, we can conclude that Hikmat Bati Berhad ratio, which is 2.5 times, is higher than the 2 times of industry average. Low non-current asset turnover rate indicates that Hikmat Bati Berhad is not using its asset efficiently than its competitor. To improve the ratio, Hikmat Bati Berhad can try to measure the output of the machine and see if it can be made to produce more without any more labor. Asset turnover ratio demonstrates how efficiently a company can generate sales using its asset. From the calculation, we can see that Hikmat Bati Berhad ratio 1.52 times is lower than the industry average, which is 1.6 times. This shows that Hikmat Bati Berhad is generating a lower volume of sales with a given amount of asset as compared to other industry. By controlling costs and scaling work efficiently, it will help Hikmat Bati Berhad to use its asset to manufacture more output.
I'm Ferlisya Hazrini and the third one is leverage ratio. The term leverage refers to the use of borrowed capital or loans. This ratio measures the level of debt or borrowings in a firm. The debt ratio measures the amount of leverage used by a company in terms of total debt to total assets. A lower debt ratio indicates a less indebted company. From the calculation, we can see that Hikmat Bati Berhad's debt ratio is lower 9.64% than the average. Hence, the potential losses that may occur in the event of liquidation is reduced. It can be improved by considering the company's length of time doing business and its development stage. A debt to equity ratio, on the other hand, reflects the ability of shareholder equity to cover all outstanding debts in the event of business downturn. Hikmat Bati Berhad's debt to equity ratio is lower than industry average, which means the company uses more equity and less borrowing as the source of financing. The company can improve it by increasing the profitability by work to improve sales revenue and lower costs. Time interest earned measures the firm's ability to cover its interest charges out of its operating profits. The higher the ratio, the higher the firm's ability to fulfill the interest obligations. Based on the calculation, we can see that Hikmat Bati Berhad's time interest earned is slightly lower than the industry average. This indicates the company has lower ability to fulfill interest obligation and might expose to risk of bankruptcy. The company can improve by paying down debt.
Assalamualaikum and hi, I'm Damia Nur Kamilea. Next, I will continue with profitability ratios, where it measures how effectively the firm uses its assets to make profits. It shows the profits earned for every sale made or the profits earned of investment in assets. There are 5 ratios under the profitability ratios. The first one is gross profit margin. It reflects how successful a company is in generating revenue in producing their products and services. Hikmat Bati Berhad gains 42.35% of GPM, where it is higher than the industry average. With that, the higher the ratios, the better it is. Reduced cost of sales by changing the supplier could improve the GPM percentage. Secondly, operating profit margin, OPM. OPM is derived after deducting all costs and expenses, excluding interest and charges and taxes from the sales. It shows Hikmat Bati Berhad making a lower operating profit margin than industry average. To improve the OPM, Khidmat Bati Berhad can reduce the cost of sales and operating expenses because the higher the operating profit margin, the higher the profitability. Thirdly, net profit margin. NPM is the percentage of revenue left after all expenses have been deducted from sales. The measurement reveals the amount of profit that a business can extract from its total sales. Net income available to common stockholder divided by sales equal to 8.18%, which is same with the industry average percentage. Khidmat Bati Berhad can increase their NPM by increasing revenues.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Syaza Qistina binti Abdul Karim. So, return on assets, which is ROA, is a measure of how efficiently a company uses the assets it owns to generate profits. Managers, analysts, and investors use return on assets to evaluate a company's financial health. And how to improve? How to improve the return on assets is assets like equipment directly produce products that create incomes, whereas buildings contribute directly to income because they house income producing equipment. Next, for return on equity is a key ratio for shareholders as it measures a company's ability to earn a return on its equity investments.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Humaira Huda binti Amri. The first one is earning per share. Earning per share is calculated as a company's profit divided by the outstanding shares of its common stock. The resulting numbers serve as an indicator of a company's profitability. From the above calculation, we can see that Khidmat Bati Berhad earning per share is higher than the industry average. Hence, a higher value indicates a higher profit per share. A way to improve earning per share is by the business can increase revenue by accomplishing more sales. Secondly, dividend per share. Dividend per share is the sum of declared dividend issued by a company for every ordinary share outstanding. From the above calculation, you can see that Khidmat Bati Berhad dividend per share is higher than the industry average. This indicates that Khidmat Bati Berhad management believe that its earning growth can be sustained. A way to improve dividend per share is by an increase in the company's net profit out of which dividends are paid. Thirdly, the dividend payout ratio. The dividend payout ratio is the ratio of the total amount of dividend paid out to shareholder. From the above calculation, you can see that Khidmat Bati Berhad dividend payout ratio is higher than industry average. This indicates that Khidmat Bati Berhad paying out more in dividend than its earning can support. A way to improve a dividend payout ratio is to make less reliable payout.
And for next, the price earning ratio helps investors determine the market value of a stock as compared to the company's earning. In short, the price earning ratio shows what the market is willing to pay today for a stock based on its past or future earnings. From the above calculation, we can see that Khidmat Bati Berhad price earning ratio is lower than the industry average. Khidmat Bati Berhad's price earning ratio is 6.56, while the total of industry average is 8.5. And how to improve the price earning ratio is a combination of economic growth and low inflation could expand price earning ratio as funds flow into stock markets in anticipation of strong earnings and dividend growth.
Last but not least is dividend yield ratio, which compares the dividend per share received by the shareholders with the current market price share. Khidmat Bati Berhad's dividend yield is 4.41%, which is lower than the industry average, and that indicates less income. In the company's net profits, out of which dividends are paid, can help improve dividend yield ratio.
We would accept the notification from Khidmat Bati Berhad as the liquidity ratio is in good shape. From the current ratio itself, we can see that the company is in a safe zone. A good liquidity ratio is anything greater than 1. Khidmat Bati Berhad current ratio is 2 times. It indicates that the company is in good financial health and is less likely to face financial hardship. The higher the ratio, the higher is the safety margin that the business possesses to meet its current liabilities.
Other than that, the reason why investors should accept the loan application is that their gross profit margin is higher than the industry average. It demonstrates that Khidmat Bati Berhad makes more money from its sales. However, it is implied that a large margin is achievable. How the margin reacts to consumer buying behavior will ultimately be determined by price strategy and competition.
Next, the reason why investors should accept loan application for Khidmat Bati is because it provides high marketability ratios. Even though these ratios are often used in a comparative sense, so what's good or bad is often dependent on what you are comparing it against. As we can see here, earning per share, dividend per share, and dividend payout ratio are also higher than the industry average, which indicates that the company is more profitable and has more profit to distribute to shareholders.
Final ratio helped Himabati Berhad compare performance with its competitor, but the firm still need to consider some limitation before making any decision on company performance. Firstly, it's because of its average performance. Logically, all companies would like to be better than average, so it may result to an undesirable output. It could be better for Himabati Berhad to make comparison with market leaders. Next, difficult to determine firm overall performance. It's challenging to conclude if Himabati overall performance is good or bad. This is because more ratios by themselves are not highly meaningful, while several of them should be combined to paint a picture of Himabati Berhad's situation.
So, for the limitation, which is point in time, some ratio extract information from the balance sheet due to the fact that information on the balance sheet is only as for the last day of the reporting period, an unusual spike or decline in the account balance and that day can have an impact on the Himabati's ratio analysis. And last, for inflation effects, it is possible that the rates of inflation between the periods under review did not match, which can make this comparison unreliable.
Lastly is different operating and accounting practices, which will make comparison difficult because different accounting methods applied will result in different values. If different companies uses different ratio method, the data gain will not be accurate. That's all from us. Thank you.